This is Chapter 4, Part 2 of 2. Be sure you have already viewed Part 1. As we continue to explore factors surrounding socialization, we can recognize a number of social forces that have the capability of influencing our lives and changing our self-images. These social forces are referred to as agents of socialization. They include such things as family, schools, peers, mass media, and technology. The family is the most significant agent, especially when we are at a young age. They are our first exposure to our social environment. They are typically our initial and lifelong caregivers, teachers of cultural and societal norms. One of the more apparent norms exposed to us through family is gender, which is the social expectations regarding our behavior, attitudes, and activities, whether we are male or female. We are exposed and taught the differences of masculinity and femininity from our very beginning. Example being how we present our newborns to society through attire. It is not uncommon for parents presenting their newborns with pink, frilly outfits worn by a newborn daughter and an outfit displaying a father's favorite sports team or interest worn by a newborn son. Another example is how we interact. We have a tendency of being tough or aggressive with a son, which is a characteristic deemed socially appropriate for male behavior, while on the other hand, we expose our daughters to acceptable social feminine qualities through nurture and tenderness. As the primary agent of childhood socialization, parents play a critical role in guiding children into those gender roles deemed appropriate in a society. Like family, school is another social institution that is assigned the responsibility of socializing members of societies, in particular children. Prior to school, children's view of their social environment is typically provided through a limited number of identified caregivers, such as parents, other family members, and maybe daycare providers. As a child enters school age and their first rite of passage, they are met with an array of social situations which tests their early age social skills and perhaps even more importantly, their sense of self. School socialization provides a means to teach children the values and customs of a larger society, as well as reinforcing segregation through social class. School socialization also provides for additional symbols to be identified and defined or redefined, allowing the child an even deeper understanding of their social environment. Peer groups become a significant social force as a child grows older. Family begins to lose their importance in social development while peers increase their role as the significant others. Peers are typically individuals that a person gravitates to due to similar characteristics they possess, such as age or likes and dislikes. Peers are important in particular during adolescence due to their ability to validate a person's social growth, such as attire, attitude, and social interest. An example is school cliques, which provide the means to present an individual's status which can range from the least socially desirable to the most socially desirable, which present challenges and rewards to each member of a particular clique. According to the text, in the past 80 years, media innovations such as radio, movies, music, television, and internet have become agents of socialization. Today, we see television and the ever present internet as being critical forces in socialization for children. It has been revealed in a national study that 68% of U.S. children have a television in their bedroom, and nearly 50% of all youth ages 8 to 18 use the internet on a daily basis. To sociologists, these findings may not necessarily provide a negative image, but rather an opportunity to further understand media's influence on human behavioral development. With media's ability to expose any type of information globally, we begin to see the magnitude of influential potential in the media. Today, media, with its obvious popularity, has the power to present programs and advertisements that mirror social situations, ranging from teen pregnancy to mental illness to polygamy. Media creates an interaction, a means in which an individual can compare their life choices to the acceptable social norms. Media is used to validate a person's behavior, appearance, likes, and dislikes. Like family, religion also plays an important part in the socialization process. When teaching societal values and morals, especially, for most societies, religion is seen as the social institution that provides the development and administration of culturally defined standards that are considered to be desirable, good, and true. We see religion as society's conscience and the keeper of cultural values and morals. We are socialized to depend on religious beliefs to comfort us when we are in crisis, to challenge us during personal growth, and to protect us from harm's way. When looking at the life course approach, sociologists explore factors that influence people throughout their lives, from birth to death. They look at gender and age and recognize that biological changes shape but do not dictate human behavior. There are several milestones or rites of passage that an individual will experience through their lives. In the U.S., some key events include graduating high school, turning 21, getting married, becoming a parent, and eventually retiring, all of which reflect a social function needed for societal stability. The development of social self is dynamic. It continues throughout our life. There are two types of socialization which can occur at several points throughout our life course, which are referred to as anticipatory socialization and re-socialization. Anticipatory socialization refers to the processes of socialization in which a person rehearses for future positions, occupations, and social relationships. An example of this type of socialization would be gender, in order to develop the social skills used in building social relationships such as marriage and families. Another example would be planning and continuing education, with the goal of attaining a future career. Resocializing is a process in which an individual will actually attempt to unlearn an established life course. This process mandates that an individual discards former behavior patterns in order to accept new ones as a part of a transition in one's life. Examples involved in this process can include being imprisoned, being in the military, therapy groups, and even religious cult groups. For most individuals that participate in this type of socialization experience, a great deal of stress, in particular those that are re-socialized through a total institution process. Total institution is an institution that regulates all aspects of a person's life under a single authority, such as a prison, military, mental hospital, or cult. In order for a transformation to occur, the individual is cut off from the rest of society with all needs met by the institution. A beginning step toward depersonalization is referred to as a degradation ceremony, with a common example referred to as hazing, a practice of rituals involving harassment, abuse, and/or humiliation as a way of initiating a person into a group. The purpose is for the individual to become secondary and rather invisible in the overbearing social environment. Today we defined socialization as a process through which people learn the attitudes, values, and actions appropriate for members of a particular culture. We discovered that heredity and environmental factors interact in influencing the socialization process. We looked at three theories as we discussed the development of social self, which included Cooley's looking glass self, Mead's theory of self, and Piaget's cognitive theory of development. We discovered that family, peers, school, media, and religion are considered agents of socialization with responsibilities toward exposing and guiding members of society on accepted social norms. And finally, we were introduced to socialization throughout the life course by examining two types of socialization that can occur at several points throughout our life course, referred to as anticipatory socialization and resocialization. This is the end of Chapter 4, Part 2 of 2. Be sure you have viewed both parts.